Something feels wrong. Something's not right. By the Matrix. What is happening? Oh, hail me.
Hello everybody, welcome to another bootleg bonanza courtesy of the team over at Show Z. Today we're taking a look at the KO version of the MP-44, but these have been modified, removing the electronics, giving him a slimmer, more streamlined look with a reduced backpack. I've opted for the shattered glass version, but they've also done a kind of Nemesis Prime as well as an Ultra Magnus looking version and an Eva Prime as well. Let's crack him out of that plastic clamshell. And here we have him out of that plastic prison. And he looks sensational, doesn't he? He's not without his flaws, but this is a good looking version of Prime. I may actually make a hole in that chest piece. At the moment it's kind of a print over the top, and I think it's kind of just lacking something. I think maybe he needs to be a little bit kind of dirtier and scuffed, but all in all he's a good looking piece and it's a good price as well. Look at how that backpack kind of fares up now when you compare him to the MP-44, albeit again it's a KO, but you can see the front looks pretty much the same. They have fixed those knees, no issues with either versions of these KOs, but it's when you come around to that backpack that it does trim itself down somewhat, not hugely, but enough to make it more viable, I guess. It looks like that's how it was kind of meant to be. I love the fact that we do get sound effects in some of these MP-44s, but I don't necessarily think we need them. It would have been nice to have them maybe in the jetpack, for example, rather than have them as a permanent fixture. Now, as far as KOs go, I don't think these are made in the same factory. It's just something, I don't know, very kind of robust about the silver-legged KO. It feels slightly thicker plastic. These are still really good, but it just doesn't quite feel like his counterpart does. I don't know what's different about it. It just feels like the consistencies are different. Something like with even with the arms, for example, like these are almost like a so I don't know. It feels softer, the ratchets, in comparison. These are much more kind of rigid, almost kind of more robust. But just look at that difference at the back there. Do you see what I mean about the chest here, though? Really wouldn't like that to actually have been a small hole. And I may get like a Dremel or a small drill, just kind of drill that through. I just think that would make the world of difference. Now, as good as he looks, he's not perfect. He's still not my favourite Shattered Glass Prime. That title goes to this guy, the Shattered Glass MP10. This was the version 2.0 KO who's been sat and needs a ruddy good dust. But he was my favourite. He had these amazing kind of Autobot insignias on those arms. And he's got the till all are gone. And it's just the colour palette. I think the colour they've used, that purple, I don't know, it's a better purple. I think it's more of what I had in mind when they originally teased it. Same with like the greens, and just those gold accents. I think a little bit of extra paint on here will really kind of separate him. I know it's a different transformation, but yeah, they do look different, don't they? And I don't know, I'm still drawn to this guy. It's one of my favourite looks for that MP10 mould. But straight out of the box, he doesn't come with the battered head on. We do get a plethora of accessories, some that make more sense than others. We get two of these blasts. which are good. You know, they're done in this kind of smoked yellow, which is the same colour as they've done his accent. So I like that. That's a good touch. We get the kind of season 1 style head, along with the kind of season 2. So that's just that kind of animation style change. Really nice finish on both those. We get a purple jetpack. So this is where I thought they really could have got away with having these sound effects, having them inside the jetpack. So we'll see how that looks when that's attached. And for some reason we get the purple wings for Starscream. That I don't get, because we don't get an alternative kind of shattered glass head for Starscream, and of course this wouldn't be the colours of Starscream in the shattered glass universe. He's done like Jetfire is. So again, this is probably a very odd accessory to include, in my opinion. I do, however, very much like that battered sculpt. Got him kind of leant forward there using his abdominal crunch, and that butterfly joint bringing his arm round, and of course we've got that tilt on the head as well, so you can lean him right forward, so he's kind of staggering due to his wound caused by Hot Rod. Yeah, I definitely need to mess up this chest piece here. That just looks too clean for who he is. Something I would like to show you, which is quite funny in my opinion. The backpack, the jetpack doesn't really fit over now, because it's designed to go over a kind of a deeper section, and then these tab in. There's nowhere for them to tab in now, because they've modified it. They haven't actually modified the backpack though. It's literally designed still to fit on. Exactly. Couldn't agree more, Prime. So yeah, so like the Starscream wing pieces, it's kind of a bit redundant. I'm sure I can tweak that and have a little play around. But it's just where it sits over that hinge. There's now nowhere for it to plug in because these sit sideways. I wonder if we could just kind of unsprawl them, I guess, and I don't know, I'd have to have a little play around, but I mean, it does definitely tidy up. You can even see the plastic quality is not quite there like the other KO MP-44s. You've got this small kind of line around here. You've got some small sprue marks as well. I guess you get what you pay for. I do still need to get an insignia for his shoulders. Unfortunately, I only have the Shatterglass Decepticons. I don't have any of the Shatterglass Autobots, so again, that's something I need to buy. I've got to get a pack of those, and I've got to get a pack of the white translucent background ones as well. So I can put one on like Prime, and I can put one on my Perceptors as well. I say Perceptors, I've got Fans Toys and X-Trans spots, so I need a sticker for both of those. So that's something I need to invest in. I will be getting one for him, but again, this is raised, so you really kind of need exactly the right size. I would have preferred that to have been kind of flush on there, so we could put a sticker of our choosing on. These are really kind of nitpicks. Now let's take a look at the articulation. The head can look up and down. We can bring that forwards and backwards. We can tilt side to side. We've got some left and right motion there. We've got ratchets on these shoulders. Come up to the side. Again, another joint just here. We've got butterfly joints forwards and backwards. There is a double bicep bend. There's a bicep rotation. We've got rotation on the waist. Can lift up and forwards. So we've got full motion. We've got abdominal crunch forwards. And we've got a rocking motion back. It does just tab in and plug in on this chest. There are hip skirts to the front. which move as the leg moves. Hip skirts to the back. We can come out to the side. Nice joint there. Upper thigh rotation. Double jointed bend on that knee. Knee does slide into one another. These do tend to pop out still though. Tilt. See what I mean? That doesn't quite tab in here. They don't really nip in here as tight either, like they do on the other version. Up and down on these feet. Tilt side to side on the toe. No left and right motion on there, but there's definitely enough to get a nice wide stance. And the hands, we do have rotation on those wrists. We have some pivot on those wrists. And the fingers, I have articulation on this joint here, as well as a bend on those fingers, but they are pinned together, and an additional bend on that trigger finger and on the thumb. Let's get Prime transformed up into his truck mode. Now to start the transformation, you want to bring these arms out, just compress the head down, and make sure the fists are compressed and inwards. The arm is going to come up, and this is going to rotate. We've got this tab underneath, which allows this piece here to come out. This goes up. This hand is going to rotate around fully, and this lifts up, and as we lift this up, it frees up a void in here, which allows this to come back around. The arm is going to come inwards like so, and we have this tab underneath here. Flip this out. Come on, out you come. And that allows this piece here to come down. Bring the shoulder bar forwards, and doing that releases this void here, allowing us to compress the arms inwards. So at the moment we're left with something that looks like that. Untab the waist from the front and the back, so we've got all of this extra range, and the backpack will want to come untabbed. It kind of does it by itself. We can then come around to these front panels. They're gonna just open like so, open like so, and this whole piece here is going to pull down, and there we see our first glimpse at that shattered glass matrix of leadership. Let's just untab this so we can take a closer look. There we go. There's that matrix. So this section comes down. Poor old Prime, look. Looks like he's seen better days, doesn't he? Now we have this piece here. That's going to come up because this is going to fold under, like so. And that comes all the way under. So this all tucks away to the back of Prime. Remove your little extra shattered glass piece, and these pieces here are going to come away from the top of the window like so, and those are going to be brought down like so, and that just goes up like this. This comes out and rotates, and the wheel turns and flips, and if you look here, that can then push back in, and there's a little notch just on the underside here, allows that to plug in. And if you look, there's a small slider just on the underside there. This wheel is going to slide up and lock that into place, and make sure all of this is pushed down nicely into that waist panel. The window pads are going to rotate around and around. These shoulder pieces are going to come down and compress. This comes up, and the head compresses and tilts like so. This backpack piece is going to fold up and over like this, and this whole panel here is going to lift, squaring off Prime's head so that it doesn't bash against anything. These then come down like so, and down like so. And as you've probably guessed, these are going to flip like this and like this. And this panel here comes all the way down, and Prime's head then just feeds into that void, and this comes out and slides in on a slider, and then this is going to come in like this. This can then come in and hook behind the window. This comes in and hooks behind the window. There we go, slowly starting to come together. That comes down, it's going to come down, this comes down. There we go, starting to get there. This panel piece is going to come up. I'm going to use that shortly. I just need to line the waist up so that when we rock this around, this is going to line up and tab under here, keeping everything in its place. These bits here are going to fold up and over, up and over. These are going to come up, these are going to come up, and that allows the legs to come all the way back so they sit flat. We can then use this butterfly hinge and rock these arms back nicely into that void. Now starting down at the feet, these bits here are going to come down and they rotate like so, and we then got this piece here which comes down, and that's going to come up like that. These parts here untab, which allows us to bring this entire piece of the leg down. So again, on this side it is just here, just untab that and drop down that entire leg panel. The internal piece of the leg folds back on itself and back on itself again, tabbing in, and there's this small hinge panel here which flips over. So again, on this side, bring that one round and around, tabbing that back in on itself, and then flip this small piece here upwards so it sits there out of the way. This piece here is on a rotating hinge, so it should, he says, slide this hinge here backwards so it collapses onto this part of the leg. This allows this to open, this to come up, and we've got part of the top of that track panel there. As well, yeah, that just comes all the way down, and that then sits flat. And with that, the leg can then come in, collapse, and sit snug as a bug in a rug just inside this leg cavity. Grab and lift the crotch, because as you can see, I've already started on this leg. You're going to start folding everything up and around and getting it all into position there. Start off with this panel here, just untab this. Come on, you're gonna flip for me. There we go, fantastic. And this piece here is going to rotate down, allowing this to come upwards. This here is going to come out and around. This comes up and extends outwards, bending on this hinge here, just straightening that off. This piece here then comes piece here. This then flips around to the other side, like so, allowing this whole piece here to be freed up. This is going to come up like this. This goes here, this goes here. You see that's going to form part of the truck panel. It's going to come around like so. This is up the top here. This is already ready. This piece here comes down. This is going to rotate. That flips like so, and this comes all the way around like so. This piece here tucks in. As we bring that back around, everything then starts to line up, and that's going to be brought back in. Square these legs off, make sure this piece here is down. And basically it's just a matter of lining everything up. Make sure this comes around to here, that comes around to here, and this is going to slide into this void. Turn that like so. There we go. Oh, fabulous. That's gone in there lovely. And start to tab those legs in. And as you can see, this should, he says, start lining up with the truck and how we have it positioned. This is going to be fun trying to get this on camera. Sometimes it is easier to guide you guys, show you what to do, and then do it off camera myself, because at the moment I'm reaching around a camera and it is definitely not ideal. These loop over and tab. This is squared off, this is squared off. Come on, you will tab in for me. Come on. And as you can see, that's kind of easier said than done. As soon as you pop one of these, the front ones kind of pop off. The wing mirrors are kind of flippy flappy. Just a little lackluster. It's still a nice piece, you know, but look what happens. Like I push those rear sections, these then untab. None of these KOs, not even the silver-legged ones, none of those really transform as well, in my opinion, as the official MP-44. He just held together better. This doesn't sit very low either. I move the arms and I adjust them as best I can, and the wheels still kind of scrape. This section, it just, nothing really kind of sits as nicely as I would like. That just scrapes, you see. Don't really know what's happened on the inside there, but we do still get the doors that can open. There we go. They still open like so. But what am I missing here? I've followed the instructions for my MP-44, obviously modified it slightly because we're missing some of the additional pieces. You don't get any instructions with this at all, but that doesn't really surprise me. Let's have a look. What are we missing in here? This should come all the way up here, shouldn't it? So it's nice and flat. These just seem to be really long, but we get a semi-feasible truck mode out of this. Okay, line everything up, make sure nothing misses its spot. And yep, there you're in. There we go. That, unfortunately, is the best we are going to do with this. Bit of a shame, really. Just misses the mark slightly. I mean, bot mode, fantastic. Slight paint differences I would have liked. But vehicle mode really kind of just misses the mark. Things don't quite tab in as nicely as they should, and it just doesn't feel like the previous bootleg, or of course the official MP-44. Something just slightly off about it. And finally we have a scale comparison. Show you how he looks alongside our MP-10. And then we have him, and then we have the MP-44. Definitely holds together better than him. I really wish we'd have got the insignia and stuff on the side. Maybe Toy Hacks will grace us with a lovely label set for him. But he's a good figure. It's good value for money, but I still think this guy here is my definitive Shattered Glass Prime. But other than the kind of feeling slightly less well made, I guess, in comparison to the official and the really nice silver-legged version, it's still a good figure. And if you're looking to get a cheap version of that mold minus that hefty backpack, then this could definitely be a viable option for you. Can't be the scrapes on the floor. Until next time, from myself and the rest of the Collectables household, thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.